Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia. If you get your coffee, bring it. Coffee, tea, whatever else you want. I've been thinking that we need to have some laughs because I don't think I've done any belly laughs in the last couple of videos, have I? So I think it's about time. And you're gonna laugh because what I want to talk about is, let's talk about what your needs are as a senior. Most of you who are watching are seniors, right? There's a few young folks in there, and that's okay. You can come too. Bring your friends. We want to start training you early for what it's going to be like. So, we're going to talk about what we need. And I hope that in the comments you'll put, if I don't touch on something, that you put it in the comments and you tell me what you feel we need. So, I think we're going to try and go along Maslov's theory. We're going to go on the bottom of the pyramid. Remember his, well, you don't need to know that. We'll just talk about the bottom of the pyramid, and the bottom of the pyramid says that we need food, shelter, water. I think that's it. Now, I know that there's some of you have a problem with getting food. Getting enough food and having enough food. Now, that's not a problem for me, but I know people that it is a problem for. And I know that some of you watching here have a problem with food. Well, didn't I just say that I wanted to make this funny? How can I make it funny if I'm talking about people who don't have food? If you don't have food, if you don't have enough money, do you have access to a food bank or someplace where you can get food, or a neighbor or a friend or someone who brings you stuff, or someone who shares their garden and stuff? Okay, I'm going to pass on that now. You need water. You need water. Do you all have running water? I bet there's some of you that don't have running water. You need to have water. It's essential. I hate water. I don't like water. I have been trying to get off Coke, and I haven't had any Coca-Cola since January 1st, since I started this whole frugal business and YouTube. I started February 1st, and since then I have been trying really hard to get off Coke, but I'm seriously thinking about getting back into it because I don't know if I can live without it any longer. I think that as we're older, we should have some pleasures in life, don't you think? We need shelter. I have a lovely home to live in. Doesn't mean that I don't have to worry about it. I bet there's some people that don't have a lovely home to live in, that they're living in a tent, or they're living on the street, or they're living in a homeless shelter, or they're living in a one-room apartment, or they're living in subsidized housing that's not maintained, or somebody who's living in a castle or a palace or a penthouse in New York City. So all of us need to have someplace, a shelter of some sort. I'm not going to dwell on the people that don't have it. I have it. And I'm sure most of the people watching this video have it, but not everyone is as fortunate as us. I've always said that I could live in a palace or I could live in a tent. Well, as I get older, I think the tent is out. I could live in a trailer. I wouldn't want to have to live in a cardboard box on a sidewalk or in a park. No, I wouldn't want to do that, and I'm sorry for anyone who has to. I also said I could live in a palace. Well, it might not be so bad, but I don't need that anymore. I'm perfectly content with this one-bedroom house, and that's enough for me. And I suspect most of you probably feel the same way about where you're living. You just have accepted where you're living. Do the best you can and enjoy it. Sleep. That's one of the other needs that you have. This is all on the bottom level of the pyramid. You need sleep. I've talked about sleep frequently on this channel. You need to have sleep. Now, hopefully we all have beds, or we have a sleeping bag, or we have some kind of mattress that we can sleep on. My mattress is probably, I hate to say it, but I think it's 40 years old. And I have wanted to get a new mattress, but I have not wanted to spend the money. New mattresses now are like $1,000 or more. Now, I know that you can probably get less expensive ones, but in all my talking about being frugal, you want to get the most and the best quality for the money. So I have not been able to do that. So someday, when I'm rolling in dough from being a YouTube creator, maybe I'll buy myself a new mattress. But we need a mattress to sleep on. So whether it's a sleeping bag, whether it's a piece of foam, whether it's an old cruddy old mattress with bugs on it, we need some place to sleep. You're not going to believe this one. We need sex. Yes, we need sex. Now, I am not going to go into that. And I bet there will be 100 people, 100 comments that say, no, you don't need sex. I'm never going to want a man or a woman or whatever again. Well, it doesn't take away the fact that you need sex. I think you should read up on the Maslov's hierarchy of needs. It's one of the basic needs. Okay. We're going up a rung now. We're going to talk about safety. We need to be safe. We need security. We need stability. Now, once again, I know that there are people that are watching this channel that don't have stability, that don't have security, that don't live in a safe place. I know that there are some people that live in a very safe place. Maybe they live in a gated community and they've got all kinds of alarms and videos watching everybody that comes in. You need financial security. This is a tough one, because even those people that are living in palaces possibly didn't manage their money very well. in their younger days. They thought they'd always have it. And now they have this palace and this big home, and they've got to pay the big utilities, the lawn care, and all the things that go with maintaining a large home. So that's something that we need to consider. We need to look into, do we really need this big palace? We need law and order. We need to be comfortable that somebody's not going to burst into our home. And if they do, that they get treated appropriately, like thrown in jail or whatever was commiserate with the crime. So you need to feel safe. You need to be protected from harm. I think that people that live alone, and especially seniors, everyone's out to get us. There's all kinds of scams and spams and lonely women who become pen pals with predator men who are just after their money. You may think that this is funny, or it would not happen to you, but it happens. It happens to the most intelligent. You know why? Because we need to be loved. We need sex. We need companionship. We need someone to care for us. So some sociopath develops a relationship with you and you're no longer safe. Your money is no longer safe. You may be having the sex and feeling like someone cares about you, but they really just care about your money. You have love and belonging needs. We all do. You can deny it. You can say, I don't need to belong anywhere. I'm perfectly fine all by myself. Well, you're kidding yourself, because you're probably miserable because you're feeling like you don't belong. You need to belong to something, to someone. You need to have a friend. You need to have a family. You need to have maybe a church or a community or the people in your apartment building. You need something. Maybe a women's group, whatever. And guess what? You need intimacy. Don't ask me about that. I did the research. This is what Maslov's hierarchy of needs says. And so that's what we're going to talk about. I just want you to think about it. Just think about it. Remember when we talked about Dr. Kildare and how we used to feel the romance, the forbidden love in Thornbirds, the sexual tension? Why did we have those things? I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm just raising the question. You need to have some sort of sense of belonging, and I think that that's something that is really lacking in the senior population, especially those who are widows or widowers that live alone and their children are not close by, and you feel abandoned. I feel abandoned sometimes. I think that it's a perception. I don't think that it's really real, but it's one of my fears. And I know other people have told me that they feel abandoned and that they don't belong to anybody. They're not important to anyone. We need that. So we need to figure out, well, what do we do? How do we tackle these needs? How do we meet these needs? These needs are pretty intense. You have esteem needs. You need to have self-respect. Now, some people are going to not like what I have to say. I don't know why, because everything I say is spot on. But you have to take care of yourself. In order to respect yourself, you have to take care of yourself. You have to bathe and shower on a regular basis. You have to wash your hair on a regular basis. And what a novel idea, you have to comb your hair. There are people watching this channel who do not comb their hair. Does that mean anything? I don't know. I would wonder, does it mean that you don't respect yourself? That you don't think you're worthy enough to be taken care of? I think that you should get some of this lipstick. This one is called Do you remember the video that I took this lipstick out? And I said, who would name a lipstick steak pink? And I showed it to you. Guess what? I just read the name again. And what it says is, so sleek pink. Where did I get steak pink? This old age is a bitch. So anyway, you have to comb your hair, wash your face. I know that people don't wash their face every day. You know why I know that? Because at other times in my life when I haven't felt so hot about myself, I didn't wash my face like I had my whole life, morning and night and as needed. But there were times when I went 3 days without washing my face. So you can't kid me. There's people out there that are not washing their faces. Wash your face. And I'm not kidding. Scrub it. Scrub your nose. Scrub those pores. Get your face clean. If you have nothing to do with yourself, do a facial mask. I know you're saying, how can I do that and I live on a sidewalk? I don't know. I'm just trying to call attention to some of these things. You need to have self-esteem. In order to have self-esteem, you have to take care of yourself. You have to be satisfied with the way that you look. I don't believe that if you go around in your pajamas all day and you don't wash your face for 3 days and you're wearing the same, you don't comb your hair, that is not self-respect. Sometimes the truth hurts. But sometimes this is called tough love. I'm slapping you around. If this is you, none of us here know that it's you. Do something about it. Do something about it. We all want to be recognized. I think that's probably one of the things that I get out of doing this channel. But so doesn't that person who doesn't comb their hair or wash their face or get out of their pajamas all day. They, deep down, they probably don't even realize it, but they want to be noticed. They want to be recognized. We need to feel like we've accomplished something, that we've achieved something, that we can look back on our lives and we can say, wow, we really did it. Even if you're estranged from your family, even if you're living on the street, is there something that you can look back on? Those of us who have raised children and have been reasonably successful, success is relative, it's a relative term. It means something different to everybody. If they're breathing, doesn't necessarily mean that they were successful, that you were successful raising them. I'm getting off the subject. Think of something that you've achieved. And all of us want some kind of status. You want to be important to somebody. But first, you have to be important to yourself. If you're not important to yourself, then you're not important to anyone else. You have to make yourself number one priority. Then, you have needs related to personal growth and fulfillment. Now, you're probably saying to me, well, I'm 86 years old, I can't walk, I can't do anything, I have my compression stockings on, and I wear the same muumuu dress every single day of my life. And how or why would I want to be creative? Why would I want to problem solve? Why would I want to learn something new? Well, why don't you think about it? Because it's so important. It's so important. You need to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, do something creative. Write a note to your children on a piece of brown paper bag. Better yet, make a card, fold a brown paper bag, and write something in it. Or decorate it somehow, something. Or go out and pick some dandelions and put them on your kitchen counter. Do something creative. I suppose it could be just combing your hair. I don't know. But you need to do something. You cannot just sit there and watch YouTube. Well, you can watch me. I'm here every day, and you better come for coffee every single day. After that, then you have to figure out how you're going to spend the rest of your day. Can you take care of your house plants? If you can't walk, or you can't move that well, can somebody bring them over to a counter or a table where you could work on them? I'm just thinking out of the box, and I don't want anyone to feel bad. Not at all. I'm trying to help us all. If one person can be reached and combs their hair for the first time in 3 days, that's a miracle. How to solve problems. We have problems every single day. Every single day there is a problem. I had the other day, the internet was down. Now for some people, they probably don't care whether the internet is down. I found that to be a tough thing. So then you have to figure out, you have to sit down and you have to say, okay, get yourself under control. How are you going to deal with this? And then you have to figure out how you're going to do it. How you're going to get this taken care of. Especially if you're on your own. When I started this channel, I have done it totally on my own. I did not know anything about anything. I could use the computer. I did email. I did texting and messaging and that sort of thing. And I will confess that early on I had to call my son and ask him to help me with something. He helped me once. And then 2 months later, I had to call him again. So he helped me a total of 2 times in the last 4 months. It's not shameful to have to ask for help. But if you can do it yourself, then you should do it yourself. You don't want to put yourself in danger or, you know, like I was telling my friend, I was going to put my window boxes in the window boxes. I have liners and I did the window boxes and I said, well, I just got to stand on top of the on top of the oil barrel. And she said, you are not standing on top of the oil barrel. I said, I am standing on top of the oil barrel. Watch me. Now, the intelligent part of me says you probably shouldn't be standing on the oil barrel. You should probably get someone to put these window boxes in for you. You should always be trying to learn new things. I can't even begin to tell you how much I've learned from this channel. I've learned all, no, I haven't learned all. I have learned a lot of the technical things. A lot. Around my house, I have done a lot of the things around my house that need to be done. Yes, I did a wah-wah video a while ago saying, I need a man. Well, I would love a man, but I don't have one. And I can't afford a handyman. Someone said, you need a handyman. Yes, I do. But let's realize I am not rolling in dough. So I cannot afford to have a handyman. And my children don't live here. But you know what? Maybe I'll make some money on this channel if I don't scare you off with this video. Maybe eventually I can get a handyman to help me with some of these things. Or maybe eventually I can buy a new mattress. And I would like my mattress to go to someone who needs a mattress, but they don't do that now because they're afraid of bed bugs and stuff. I think that is the stupidest thing in the whole world. I mean, people need beds, right? Now, obviously mine is a clean bed. It doesn't have bed bugs. And it's not that bad, but it is 40 years old. And I should have a decent mattress in my old age. My bones ache, my fingers ache, my feet ache, my hips ache, my shoulders ache. Where was I? I was talking about learning. So you can learn one new thing. One thing. Learn that you can figure out how to read the newspaper, or you can figure out how to write a comment on YouTube. Now, older people like us are challenged technically. you can't do something, figure it out. You can do it. I know you can. Here I go. I'm getting weepy again because I want you to live the best life that you can in your old age. I'm trying. It's not easy. No, it's not. It's scary. No doubt about it. Are there sometimes when I feel like I don't even want to get up in the morning? Yep. I just killed a mosquito. So, get your act together. So, but you can't achieve these things that I'm just talking about right now without having achieved the lowest level. You have to have food, shelter, water. Forget the sex. I just threw the, I mean, it is one of the hierarchy of needs, but I would say that it's probably the least of our worries. And you know what? There's somebody out there that will have sex with anybody. So there's somebody for somebody if that's what you want. There are other ways. I'm not going to get into that. So you can move back and forth between these levels, Maslov's levels of hierarchy. You don't have to accomplish all of them. You don't have to have all of them. You can have some of but the basic ones, the food, the shelter, the water, the sleep, the place to sleep, those are the basic needs. You have to figure out how to get those met. And then you can work on all those other things. You can work on combing your hair. I mean, how can you comb your hair every day if you're living on the street or if you're living in a homeless shelter? You know, I'm coming at this from like a person who has never had any of that kind of experience, but I'm not stupid enough or naive enough to know that it doesn't happen. So how can I be telling you comb your hair when you're living on the street and you don't even have a freaking comb? But when you have those things, then you use them and you take care of them and you will be happier. You will feel better about yourself. You will be more successful. You will have a sense of belonging because what will happen is you'll be able to help other people and you will feel good about yourself. So if just one person who's watching this gets the message that you need these things, everyone needs these things that I've talked about. And I might, this was kind of intense for me, and it's probably aggravated quite a few people that are watching me. I'll see how it works out, but it actually almost makes sense to take like one group of the needs that we have as seniors, as human beings. These are the needs that a human being has. But it might make sense to just do one tier at a time and really try and dive into it. And I'll try not to lecture because I'm not a professor. Look, I couldn't even read the damn lipstick. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I made a whole big deal about whoever heard of steak pink. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming for coffee. Please like, subscribe, and come back tomorrow. Bring your whatever. And let's see what we can talk about. I'll see what other fun things I can do.